Let's continue with our Android app development workshop day 2. In yesterday's session, we have seen that how we can create an Android project, and also we have seen the Android Studio workflow environment, so that once we are familiar with that, we are ready to get started with our Android app development workshop. In today's day 2 session, we will see views, layouts, resources, and for the user interaction. I hope you can hear my voice, right? Also the screen, can you see the screen? Okay. So in yesterday's session, we have talked about different types of components like activity, services, content providers, and broadcast receivers. But in today's session, we will work on design part, because Android application is incomplete without proper appearance of the screen, right? So we will get into that in our today's session. These are the contents that we plan for today. We will get into views, view groups, view hierarchies, and then we will see layouts, how we can create layouts using XML and also Java. And next to that, we will see event handling and resources, screen measurements, different types of measurement, and also we will get into one of the view type like text view and column view. Okay, let's get started with the view. View means it's like everything that you see in your screen can be considered as a view. So in your mobile device, you look at your mobile device, and every user interaction element that you see is a view. Here you can see that we can have 3 view, right? At the very top, there is a button view, which is text on it. And next to that, here we have a text view and also another button of count. So these are a view. So everything that you see in your screen can be considered as a view. So when it comes to the format definition, by default, we use many view subclasses that are basic for our basic, and it's also a building block for the user interface. So we can use text view for displaying text. We can use edit text for a text that can be editable, so that if you want to take an input from user, you use this kind of view. And also button view, we can also have menus and many other control views. And also if you want to have an scrollable element, you can use scroll view, recycler view. And if you want to show image, you can use image view. So these are the subclasses of view. So we can use them for our user interface. So we will get into one or two of them in our practice part in today's session. So these are some of the examples of view subclasses. Here you can see button and also edit text, so that the user can give input. Slider, also it's a view, a subclass of view. Checkbox, radio, button, switch. These all are some examples of view subclasses. Views can have different properties, right? It can have color, dimension, position that you have to set. So these all attributes you can set in your view, so that to make it more interactive with the user. And also it may have focus, so that whenever you user select, or if you user select on that view, you can receive some user input. And it could also be interactive, so it should be respond to your user click. That's what we call event. And it may be visible or not. The relationship to other views, we can also set that one. Okay, there are 2 or 3 ways to create views and layouts. The one way is by using Android Studio Layout Editor, which is a visual representation of XML. You can just drag and drop different given from the given palette. And another way is XML editor, so that you can just type code and to create views and layouts. And also it's possible to do with Java code. So both these three ways are okay to create different views and layouts. So I think we will just prepare the XML one in our workshop, but you can do with one of these three. So the first one, by using Android Studio Layout, we decided this one. So you go to the layout file, what you put here by default, the Android main XML. So when you click on this, there is at the very bottom here, design and text part, right? So in here, you just switch to the design part so that you can get these all palettes. So you can just drag and drop from here, from this component tree, and you can create your own view or layout, whatever you like to do. This is one way to create views and layouts. This is also another way to create a view by using XML. You just type view what you want here. This is the tag starting by text view. So inside the text view, you specify different attributes here. So you may define the links, the width, the background color, if you like, the text for that view, and the size of the text style. So we'll get into this in the practice part, but this is also one way to create view using XML. Okay, so here in the previous slide, you have seen there is about three ways to create, to give an attribute for the view, right, in XML. Here at the very first, we specify every attribute here start by the keyword called Android, right? So Android followed by, for example, Android, that we specify the property name at the left part, and you give the property view on the right part. So for example, here, Android, and we start with layout width to specify the width for that view, and you can specify either by just giving the size in DP, or you can just specify like match parent and wrap content. Match parent means to the width of this layout to be the root view. So it will take the root view's width. That means match parent. We will get into that in the practice part. So this is one way of creating attribute in your XML. The another way is you specify the property name, and also on the right part, you specify the resource type. So if you are allocating the resource type, like here, we specify the text and the property name text, and we specifying here at a string. So the text were found in the string resource, and the name of that resource ID is button label text. So this is also another way here we used for the text at string, and we specify the name of that, the ID for that specific string. And the third one is we specify again the property name at the left part, and we specify the ID, and with that specific ID name. Here we, for example, we specify Android ID, and we write this annotation at plus ID, and we specify the view ID, that specific view ID. So the only way to access that view is using ID. So don't forget to set this ID attribute in your view so that you can access that view in your Android code. We'll get into that in the practice part. Okay, this is this one we saw the second way of creating view using XML. So now let's see the third way to create view using Java code. So in your activity, you can create also view by using the classes that provided from the activity. So here we can use text view class created by the object of this text view class, and we pass the context for activity. You can just pass this, since activity to have its own context. We create the object so that we can take text for this text view by using setText method here. So we just specify the string for this text view. So here you can see this keyword is a context for this activity. So what means context by means? Okay, context is just an interface to the global information about the application environment. So here is just to specifying the scope of this object. So we have to specify the scope of this object maybe to that specific activity or to the whole application too. So there are two ways to create context in your Android Java. The one way is if your activity is you can just use a context class, and you create an object of context class and use this get application context, so it can give you, can return the application context to you so that you can pass this context. Another way is if it's that one is if that is, you are using an activity, just you can access it by using this keyword. So this one will give an access for your application context. We'll also get into that in the practice part. Okay, once we are familiar with the view, let's see view group and view hierarchy. Okay, so view group means it's also a parent view. We can say like a parent view that contains child views. So view groups is a type of view that contain other views or childs. So view group is a base class for layouts and also view containers. Here, for example, linear layout, scroll view, recycler view, these all are can be considered as a view group. For example, linear layout is to arrange views in a horizontal or vertical row. You can specify that one based on your interest, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Scroll view is any view that is scrollable, and that contains also just one element or one child view on it. Recycler view contains a list of elements and also enables scrolling by adding and removing elements dynamically. That's the difference with this scroll view. Scroll view just only contains one element on it. We will see the practice of this scroll view in our demo part today. Okay, so view groups for layouts. Layouts by itself, it can be specific type of view group, or we can say subclass of view group. It contains child views on it, and also it can be in a row or column or grid or table or absolute. Those one you can specify by yourself. Here are the common types of layout classes. Here you can see linear layout. Linear layout means the layout that specifies different view in horizontal or vertical. Here it's assigned horizontally, right? Here is one view. Here we have three views, right? 1, 2, 3. So these three views are assigned in horizontal. So the orientation you have to specify if you are using linear layout, whether if you want to set your views horizontal or in vertical. Here is relative layout. Each layout is assigned your view based on another views. So based on the neighbor views. Here, from the top view in white scale, it's different from the right view, from the bottom view if you have. So you can specify that the relationship with other views. So that's what the relative layout means. Grid layout is you specify the row and column so that your view will be assigned based on that parameter, row and column. And table layout is also the same way. You just specify, there is no specific row and column. You can just give a dimension for that table, length and width, so that you can have table layout too. So these are some of the common layouts classes. Okay, constraint also there are like constraint layouts, so that you by default the Android Studio come up with the constraint layout, right? I think it's better if I create a project, and so that if there is something to switch for the code part to show you some example, so that let's create our today's practice project, and I will come back to this PPT. Studio. let's create our new project. We'll go with the MPT one, and let's say day 2 app. We'll go with the default one. Okay, let's close this one. Okay, let's wait until the Gradle were built and configure different project. Okay. So here you can see that in our resource file, in our layout, let's switch this one to the split or code test. So here you can see the Android Studio by default it come up with the constraint layout. So this is the constraint layout, and what makes constraint layout differ from other layout is it's fixed throughout the different screen size, so that the view that you created using Android layout will be like the same on different screen size. So you may have very small device, so large device, so the views will be the same static. So we not prefer this layout in our workflow, but it's also one in the default one for Android Studio come up with. And also you can have linear layouts so that you can specify your view horizontally or vertical row, and relative layouts that will specify your child views relative to each other, relative to other views. And table layouts, you can just specify rows and columns for that view. And the last part here, the frame layout, which shows one child of a stack of children, which means, like, for example, let's take an photo album app. So the photo album app is, you just can see one image at a time, right? So that you can swipe to the left, to the right to see the next image. So that kind of layout is provided by this frame layout. So it only shows one child of the stack. So there is another view inside, but it only shows one. Then you can swipe to the left, to the right to see other views. That's why we call this a frame layout. Okay. So these are the hierarchy of view groups and views. We can have view group at the very top. So always the root view should be view group. Here, let's switch to the code. Here we use this constraint view. So the root view should be view group. So inside this constraint layout, we can have multiple view. Also, we can also create another view group inside here. So don't forget that you have to specify the view group first as a root view in your project, in your layout. Then inside the view group, you can have also another view group that contains another child group, another child view. Okay, so you can then just directly specify the view inside the view group. Also, you can specify view group. If you specify view group, you can also have another view on inside that view group. Okay, so view group, here view hierarchy and screen layout, you can here see the activity, main, exhibit. By default here, the Android Studio come up with the constraint layout. Here just, let's say we have a linear layout, right? So this is the view group. Here you can see the first one is the view group. So inside this view group, we do have about 3 views, right? The first one is button, and the next one a text view, and the next one button, another button. So these 3 views can be a file view for this linear layout, which is this one is a view group. So linear layout and button, text view, and button. So this is the example that we have seen before, and then the first slide of this PPT. Okay, this is the component tree for our view. So we do have a linear layout here. So if you are using linear layout, you have to specify the orientation, right? Since linear layout order your view in a vertical or horizontal way. So here our view is ordered in a vertical, right? So here we have thought, here you have another text view, and you have also another button view. Those are ordered in the vertical. So this will be set as a vertical. We will specify that one in our attribute of this view group. Okay, so this is the layout to create, how we can create layout using XML. We have seen how we can create view, right? So now let's see the layout, how we can create using XML. So we specify the layout name here, linear layout. So this tag starts from here and close the tag on here. So inside this linear layout, since it's a view group, we do have a multiple view inside it. And we specify the orientation here vertical. So this inside views can be ordered in vertically. So we have to specify, if you are using linear layout, you have to specify the orientation, whether it's vertical or horizontal. And next to that, you also can give the width and height for this view group. So here we do have match parent. Match parent means since here we don't have another parent view, since this linear layout is by itself parent view, right? Parent view group. So we just here means it takes the full screen of your device, since we don't have any other view group on here or parent view here. So, but if you use this layout width and height inside this button or inside this text view, it means it will take the width or height of that parent view, which is the parent view for this child view is linear layout. We will get into this in the practical part too. Okay, so also it's possible to create layout using Java code in your activity. So the way you have to use is you just use a linear layout class to create an object of this linear layout class. And once you create this linear layout object, you have to, don't forget to pass the context key in this case, that this, so this linear, this object scope will be in this activity or in this application. So, and next to that, if you are using this one, is a linear layout, so you have to specify the orientation, right? So we specify the orientation by using this linear layout object and pass the constant vertical or horizontal. Then next to that, once you have created the view group, which is a linear layout, then you can add different view or child view on it. So here we created a text view, and we set the text view. We were already seeing this one. And once we create this text view, just the only thing is to add this view in our layout view. So we pass this object here, linear layout object we created by using linear layout class, and we just use add a view object, add view method, and we pass this text view object. Okay, once we are done with this, just set content view, and we pass this linear layout for our this set content views here. So we use that one in our, let's see, the Java code. So here we pass the set content view. So set content view will attach our layout this activity main XML layout with our activity. So this is the same way we will use. So set content view, and we pass a linear layout that we created on here by using Java code. If I created by using XML, so this is the way to pass to access or to redirect to the layout file. So to go to the R resource folder, then layout folder. It comes to this R, comes to this folder. Next to that, it will go to the layout, into this, and it will access this activity main layouts. Actually, it doesn't mean this one. It doesn't mean like sorry. It doesn't mean this R doesn't mean go to this resource folder. This layout doesn't mean goes to this layout folder, and this activity main doesn't mean to go to this XML file. The reality is, since it's Java code, right? How do you think that Java code can be accessed this XML file? How do these two codes can interact each other? There is no way to do so. So the thing what is working inside is it's calling the Java file here. So there is r.java file in your Android project. So actually you can't see this file in this project hierarchy. To find out where this r.java file found, we can just switch this Android at the very top here. The project pane is starting with Android, right? So here you can switch to the package. You can see my screen, right? So here you can switch to the package, and then here we do have many attributes, because we don't need those all things. So that's why the makes simplifies the project hierarchy for us by making this Android. But to access where this r.java file found, you can just switch this one to package, and then maybe I think it's around here. So in the libraries and in Android, so I think we can just, let's see. Let's find where this Java file from. This one, you can see this, right? So this is the place where we are locating now. So we are the layout file by default you created on here will be automatically changed to the Java code. So this is the r.java file. So we are now specifying this to this r.java file. And inside this Java file, we have a class called layout. So we are preferring the layout class, then we are specifying this activity main method. But the simple way is to understand is just go to the resource folder and layout folder and specify this activity main. But this is the file where we are preparing, we are allocating now. So here maybe you can find where is the layout. Maybe here you can see, right? This is the layout method here. The class, sorry, this is the layout class. So inside layout class, you can find the different methods. So here you can see ID, and also let's again search activity. So there's somewhere here. There's a bunch of code, so I don't find it in here, but it's inside this file. So the way we are accessing, referring this layout file is just go to this resource r.java file, and in this layout class. So now we are preferring this activity main method inside this library. So this is the way it works actually, but you can just think of like go to resource folder and accessing the layout folder. Next to that, we are just accessing this activity main, but the thing working inside is not like that because it's Java code. So the all layouts code you created by using XML should transfer or should change it to Java. Okay, so once we are, let's switch to the PPT. Here, let's continue. So this is the way you can create layouts using Java code, and you get assigned, you set content by using the object you created. Okay, so there are also ways to assign width and height in Java code. So here we just use layout width and layout height to specify here. Layout width and layout height to specify the height and width for this layout, right? So also it's possible to specify it by using Java code by this layout params method. So we just use create an object of this layout params method object, and then you just pass the parameter match parent or wrap content. Sorry, here it should be wrap content. There is no match content. Sorry. So you can pass here match parent or wrap content, whatever you like. Wrap content means the width or the height of that view should be based on that the text that you provided for that view. So if you are creating button and if you specify the width by saying wrap content, so it will depend on the text you set it for that view. So if your text is very long, so the length of or the width of that button will be depend on that text. So that's mean wrap content. Match parent means you will take the width or height of that parent view. Okay. Let's see the layout editor and layout. I think it goes into that. Let's see the event handling. So how you can handle those events when the user click or different actions. So something will happen in the user interface in your device when the user click or tap or drag. So we specify that one with how we call events. And so device can maybe detect activities such as when you are walking or driving or different activity you are doing by using sensors or something stuff. So those things you have to specify using events. So events are noticed by the Android system. So you don't know how it works, but the Android system by default notice these events and give a notification for us or give an user interaction for us. So there are if you want to implement event on your different view, there are called event handlers, right? Event handlers are methods, so to do something in response to a click or tap or different action of user. So it's a method called an event handler, and it's triggered by the specific event, and does something in response to event. Okay. So there are two ways to implement event in your code. So one is by using XML. Also another way is by using Java. Here you can attach Android to your view using XML layout by using the attribute called onClick. So you just specify Android and column with onClick. onClick is we specify the method name for so which method you are calling when this event will be clicked. So shorthost here we are specifying go to this shorthost method if this view will be clicked by user. And the other way is by using Java activity. So to do this, you can just this one is the same. So once you specify the attributes on click by using this name like shorthost, so you have to specify this shorthost method in your activity. This is must. If you don't do this, it will be error. So your app will be crashed. So you have to specify this shorthost method in your activity because you are now telling that if this view will be clicked, then go to this shorthost method. But if you don't implement shorthost method in your Java activity, so it will be an error. So here is the way. So you have to specify shorthost method inside your view, and you can just do something inside this. So here just create a string of message, and it posts that message. Post means code. It is just a quick what you call like a notification. It's not notification, but just a quick pop-up text. So it will just something like alert, but it's not alert, but it will pop up some text message for you. The pop-up text will be duration can be very long or it can be short or long. That depends on the attribute you set. If you set long, it will be about 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 seconds. If you specify short, it will be taught for the 1 second. So we will see this one in our event handling code. Okay, also it's possible to save event handler using Java code. So if you want to do so, you can just create a class, an object of your view. Here we are creating a button the view, the object of button view. And once we create this button view, we just access that specific view by using find view by ID. So it will access this view by using the ID. So that's the thing, we need ID. So we can access that view. If that specific view were clicked, we just hit a method. This is the user-defined method. There is set on click listener, and it will pop up on click view. So whenever you make an action on that view, it will come into this on click method. I'll show you this in the practice part. Okay, once we are ready with these views and view hierarchies and layouts, let's see some resources. So the resources mean separate static data that we access from your code, but they are all found in your layout folder. So we just, let me switch. Here you can see these all are resource, these all are the resource file. They are static file, and you just specify it in here, and you can access it in your Java code everywhere. Okay, so they are like static data that you access in your code. So they can be strings, they can be a dimension that you want to specify. There can be also image, different menu text, colors or styles. Also, it's useful for localization. Okay, these are the directory where you found our resource. We can have drawable, layout, map, values. We already talked about the meaning yesterday, what makes differ one from the other. Okay, to refer to these resources in your code, there are multiple ways. So if you are referring the layout, just use r.layout. And you specify the layout name. So here r.layout and the name of the layout. Here in our Java code, this is the way, right? You specify our layout by using r.layout.activity main. So this is the one way to specify your layout file. If you want to refer to your view, you just use ID, right? So if you are specifying, or if you are referring to your view, this one is for layout, this one for view. If you are referring for the view, you just use find view by method, and you pass r.id and then the ID name here. So I think we didn't set ID here, but you can specify ID for this view. This one is the layout. And if you want to specify the ID for this view, and if you want to access this view in your Java code, then you just specify the ID here by using ID attributes. So just type ID, and it will pop up the suggestion box here. So you can choose Android ID. And it will also come up with another suggestion box here. You can just choose @ID, @annotation, and +ID, and just specify the ID name for this specific view. You can just say text. So if you want to specify the ID for this view, you can just use in this way. And you can access this text view in your Java code by using this ID. So this is the way to refer for those kinds of view. The other way is to refer your maybe string file or something. If you are strings different, we may have multiple string data in your string XML, right? So to specify that, there are two ways. It's a different way to refer in your Java and XML. If you are using in your Java, you just specify by using r.string, then the title for that string. So you have to specify that. If you are using in your XML, you can just use Android attribute, and you just use text attribute, and you specify the string and the title of that string. This is for the XML, this is for the Java. If you are referring in your string file from your Java, you use this way. If you are referring from your XML, you use this way. Yeah, so you can see that maybe here you can say this, instead of like writing the text hello world in here, we can specify this hello world text. We can say that one in our strings XML file, and you can just specify. Let's do that now. Okay, in your string, you can just string, right? And you can name our string something like text. Okay, and then we close that string, and the way we can just here type hello world. So now we can access this hello world string file by using this text. So come on here, and instead of referring this hello world text on here, we can just use at string, and you specify here at a string. We do have two strings right here. We do have app name and text. So here the suggestion box come up with at with the string with the app name or text. So we can just specify this one text. So this is also one way to specify your string from your example. If you are using Java, you don't do this add string. Instead, you use add.string. We will not prefer this one in your Java. So let's see the measurements. There are different kind of measurements that you use in your layout file, so that you can specify maybe length, width, and height for your view or for your text. So the first one is you use DP, which is density independent pixel. So we use commonly this measurement for views. So different view like button or something view, so you can specify that with a DP or width and height. And we also can use SCP, which means scale independent pixel. So this one we prefer for the text. So the size of text will be specified by this kind of measurement, SCP. So actually we recommend to not use this device or density dependent units like pixel, millimeter, and also points. So these are this kind of measurements are device dependent, and it's not a good practice to use in your app, because the measurement you may think is different from when your app you run, because it depends on the device. So when you specify some pixel or millimeter on your for your view, then you may not get that specific sizing on your app when you run it, because it depends on your screen size. So don't prefer this kind of measurement in your Android app. Okay, before getting into this deep on text and scrolling view, one of the view types, let's can you just practice one thing like event handling and those stuff, and let's do that and we will get into this. Okay, are you guys ready to code with me? Let's see the practice part for this for the views and event handling stuff. If you are ready, then we can continue together. We'll just go slowly so that you can do with me if you are ready. You guys ready? You man, you are ready, right?
Ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, man. Okay. This Android Studio come up with the default constraint layout, right? So we don't prefer this one because it's fixed along with different screen size. So let's delete this one. Just select and type layout. So we prefer relative layout to our workshop because it's good to specify different views and view groups related to each other. So let's type relative layout. When you type capital R, it will come the suggestion box here. So you can just select relative layout. So it will change automatically the closing tag here, relative layout, to the opening tag. Okay, once we are, let's switch this coding part only. Let's switch to split so that you can just directly see your view where it's located, and you can just change anything on your XML code. You can see it on your this visual editor. Okay, so once you change this constraint layout to relative layout, so let's, instead of this text, let's change this text.
Thaddeus. Mine is different from yours. I put I type the code part and it shows different from you.
You mean this XML?
Yeah. After relative layout, XML, Android, something like.
That's okay. Like, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You can go with layout. This one you change.
Okay.
Let's change the string name. So baby. And then stuff. This one is like referring the constant layout. So we may not need that. Also, we can once here we specify the ID. So we will get this ID in our Java collateral if you want this text to be. For now, we don't need it, but you can just specify the ID. It's good practice to use ID in your view when you create your view. Okay, once we are done with this, the default one is the layout width and layout height come up with the wrap content. Wrap content means so the view, this view will depend on the on the text that we specify for this text of this day to app. So the height and the width will depend on these links and this height. So if you use here, you can see let's I don't know. Can I get it? Okay. Here you can see the height and the width depends on the size of this text, right? So instead, you can use widths like let's try to change the match parent, and you can see the difference. Here you see the match parent, it takes the whole length. It takes the whole. Oh, can you just someone's mic is on, so it's disturbing me here. So you can specify, if you specify with the match parent, it will take the whole length here. If you specify also here match parent, it will take the whole height. So instead, we prefer using wrap content. So this is the better practice to use. So once we're done with the height and the width, this text is like allocated at the top. So instead, we can make it center, layout center horizontal. True. So this makes your text to the center. You can see now your text up here in the center, right? You can see the visual, the visual editor for this layout. You can easily see when you make any change on your code, you can see the difference here. So now our text will be at the center of this layout. Okay, so I think we don't need anything to specify. Also, we can specify the size of this text, right? So let's with type size, it will come text size. So for the text size, we have seen here in the PPT. So better practice to text, you better use SCP, what I call scale independent pixels. So we will use SCP to our this text view. Let's say how many SCP we want to give for this. Let's say 32 SCP. Okay. So our text now is a little bigger, right? Okay, once we set the text size, what left? You can also set color for your text. Well, the thing to do to specify the text is you just use color name. You type color, and the pop-up box, suggestion box will come up with text color. Click on that, and now we can specify your color. Your color you may specify. I think it's possible to specify here by using hexadecimal value. I don't know what hexadecimal is. Yeah, color. Yeah, there is also possible. Yeah, I type 0 hexadecimal value of here, and it gives me very dark color. If you want, also you can specify your hexadecimal value here, but the better practice is to use the color that is specified in your color XML. So here we do have some colors specified on this colors XML. So from this XML, you can just take one color from here. Also, you can specify your own color, and then you can access that color by using this name. So for now, let's take which color you prefer. Let's take this one, color primary dark. So let's go to this, and then we can just use at and color. And when you type C, you will pop up different attributes that you use in our color XML. So you can use color primary, color accent, color dot primary dot. So let's click on this. Now the text color is changed, right? Okay, are you good with this so far? Anything, any problem or any question? Hello, are you guys with me? No response.
Can you
I'm
hear me?
writing.
Okay, go on.
This
Good job.
this bunch of codes that you are busy showing us, like, are you expecting us to code along? Because if you are expecting us to code along, man, you are way too fast. I won't lie to you.
Oh, now you are not coding with me. I thought you guys are coding with me. I think it's easy. So you just type. We start from the same, so there's no problem to type now. We can go
No
slowly.
problem. Okay, if you just want us to just watch you explain, then that's fine. Because I was expecting us to be coding along with you.
You can just try to code with me. Of course, I will push this code on the GitHub so that you can prefer at the end of the class, but I prefer you guys code with me. So if you get any error, so you can ask in this class, in this discussion box, so you can fix it out.
No problem.
All right. Okay, once we create the text view, let's create another text view here so that we can handle, we will create two buttons, and when those buttons were clicked, we will set the data for this text view, different data. So let's create another, let's copy this one instead of just using you create by from scratch. You can just copy this one and paste it on here. Okay, now here you may get an error if you just copy the whole thing from here. The first error is the ID, right? So here the ID, you can't use the same ID for different view. Okay, so it will conflict when you accessing from your Java code. So instead you can change this one to maybe something new. Okay, what's the problem here? Oh, new, we can't use the keyword new here because new is a keyword in Java. So instead we can say new text. Okay. Okay, now we are creating another text here, but the text will be wrap up on this text because we are not specifying, since we are using relative layout, we have to specify from its location from another view, from this view. So to do that, what we have to do is just try to specify like layout below. Let's say below, so you can find the undo layout below here, and you just specify an ID from which ID of view you want to put this view. So you want to put this view below this text view. Okay, so we can now, here you can have another view with the same text. So instead of using the same text here, we can specify our text here. It's saying loading. Okay, and also we can specify the color. We don't need to specify the color here, but we can change the color if possible to make it different. Let's say color, and let's say primary. Oh, that's the same color. Let's say accent. Okay, now color of this text is different from that one. Also, we can specify the margin. Okay, for this one, also we can specify the margin from the top. Or those things like margin and padding. I think you guys are familiar with the HTML, right? HTML, CSS, special CSS stuff. So you are familiar with this kind of thing. So you just try to give any space from outside, from inside. So that's what I mean, padding and margin. So for this one, you can just say padding from top. You can give like maybe 10 dp. Yeah, and also we can give the padding or margin from top. I think this one maybe margin, and also we can give this one margin from top, and you can give maybe 15. Our text 50 dp different from the first text. So once we are done with this, let's create two buttons here. Now our button contain two buttons. When the user click on the first button, the text of this text view will be changed, and also on the second button we'll click, and we will specify the handling for two buttons, one by using XML, the other by using Java. That's why I want two buttons. So I'll show you how we can create, even how we can handle these events by using XML and Java for these two buttons. Okay, so once we are done with this, let's create the button. Okay, so here the button class is coming here, so you can just select, and you have to specify the width and height for your button. So we go with the wrap content, and for here also wrap content. So once you are done with this, you have to, don't forget to close this tag. So you just go slash with the closing tag, and we specify many things on here like text. So let's say text. So for this, our first button, you can just specify the text like first button. Maybe. Okay, and the size of the button, let's say set the ID first. Okay, I'll call btn1 the ID, and once we set that one, we can also specify the text we already done. The color also you can do that, or padding the margin. Okay? Margin from top, maybe about 50 dp. Okay, once we are done, our button is now here, right? So we have to, since we are using relative layout, we have to specify from which view the relative location from other views. So let's say layout below from where? From our text view, this new text view, right? So we specify at ID and new text. So our view will be now here on the below this loading text. So this is the way to, you have to specify your views relative location from another views. And also we can specify this view to the center. To do that, you just type the center horizontal, and you add that one through. Now view will be at the center of this screen. And also you can change the dp here, like about 25. No. Okay, I think we are done with this now. So once we finish this, the next thing we can do is we add another button here. we copy the first one and change that only the ID, okay? The ID here. Now you can't see this button here because this button will be overridden by this button one, because we are just saying we specified the same padding here from the top, and we are like using the same ID here from this text view. Both are below this text view, so we have to specify this one instead of saying below ID new text. We can just say btn1, below btn1. Okay, so now our text will be below this btn1. Now we can easily see these three views. Okay, now the thing that I want to show you in here is to specify event on these two buttons. Let's run and see what it looks like. Okay, first, before we go into implement the event handling. This is the previous one. Let's wait until the Gradle building stuff we finished. Since my machine is super powerful, so it will not take that much time. Okay, now here you can see two buttons here. Okay, there is a day2 text view. There are two text view here, and we do have two buttons. So you may not get anything when you click on this button because we didn't set any event handling on this. Okay, so now we will do that. Just loading, and you can see change anything loading. So if you click on this button, we will change this text, and if you click, oh, we have the same name, right? Let's say second button. Okay, just click that one and it will modify for you. Now you can have second button and first button. So if you click on the first button, this change with the text on this loading would be changed to some text, and also if you click on this text, we will change this text. Okay, so let's do that. For this one we will use the XML. For this one we will use Java, so that to show you the both way we can do event handling. So for the first button, to implement event handling, you just type on click attribute. You just say on click. Okay, when you type on, it will pop up the on click key attribute. So you set the method name, so that when you type your button, when you click your button, so it will redirect you to this button. So let's say what button we want to implement. So first button click. Okay. Button click. So now it will show us an error message, an error line here, right? So here you can see there is error in our code. So what the error is, we didn't implement this method in our Java code. Okay. This is the error because we didn't implement this first button click method in our Java code. So to implement this, you can just go to your main activity here, and you can just create that first button click button. First button clicked method. But also there is another way to do it. But you just on this, you put your cursor on this first button clicked, and you just try to use Alt plus Enter. Okay, Alt plus Enter. So if you do Alt plus Enter, you will get a way how you can fix this error. So it will suggest you different ways so that you can fix this error. So you just click the second one, because the second one says create this first button clicked view in your main activity. So this is what we want, right? We want to create this method in our main activity, because we don't have this button in our main activity. That's why it's showing an error. You can just go directly to your main activity and create by yourself. Also, you can do it by this way. Just Alt plus Enter, choose the second one. Okay. Now here you can see to create this button for us. So now you can do anything you want on this button. Okay. This is the one way to create your own event handling method. Okay. The other way is yeah, let's close this string stuff. don't need any of them now. Now there is no error on here. So once we have created this button in our activity file. So once this button is clicked, this first button icon is clicked, it will redirect us to this method. Okay, for this one, we will just use the Java code. Instead of this using on-click attributes, we prefer to use the Java code, okay? So we can just use Java code to, we will not use this on-click attribute for this one. So let's get these two buttons in this text view in our Java code now, so that when this button will click, you will change this text message, and also with this second button will click, we change this text view too. So now what we have to do is we create a class of those views. So the first view that we have here is what we have text view, right? So we just create a class of text view. Okay. We just use a text view by saying like one maybe. Okay. And now we can have this object of text view. Also, we need button, right? Button, or maybe B2, because we don't need button one key. We just need button 2. Button 1 will be implemented by using this method. So once we created an object of text view and button, now we have to allocate these two objectives for our view in what we created in the example. So to do that, we just use v1 is equals to find view by ID. So we are now preparing our text view by using ID, okay? So don't forget to specify ID so that you can easily access. So now we specify R, because it's found in the resource, and also it's found in where? In the layout, right? No, since it's a view, so we access by using ID. It should be small letter ID. And now let's see what the ID we set for this text view. So new text. So this is now we are accessing this text. Okay. So we will take this ID. So we just paste here. Okay. Now we are ready. Now we can access our text view. So now we can modify this text by whatever we want. So once we get that specific text view by using the ID we specified. Okay, the other thing is B2. So we want also B2, right? Since B2, we also use the same way, find view by ID and r dot ID dot, I think we specify button, right? Okay. Now we got those two views. We need those two views for the second view, the text view, just to update our text view, and the second button view to handle event on this view. Okay. Okay. Once we get our second button, we can just specify here now. So we'll get into that in a moment. But let's say here we specify like a string. A string new maybe update equals to let's say the first button is clicked. Okay. So now we are setting this. Now. Then we can easily access our text view and T1. Our text view is T1, and then T1 dot set text and update. Okay. Now we can run our text, and when our first button will clicked, the text will be the T1, the text that found in this T1, which is the text that found in the new text ID. So this text will be now, this loading text will be changed into this text. So let's run and see this before we go into implement for our button 2. we need some, because we change on our Java code. If you are only changing your layout, you can just use this icon, so that it will just automatically update your views to your screen. But now we changed our Java code, so you have to kill and run. Okay. Okay, now let's see if we clicked on our first button, this text have to be changed to this text. Let's see. Now the first button is clicked, successful, right? So this is the way to implement our event handling using XML, because we just put our on-click attribute by using this method. So now we implement it on this first button click. We just specify a string and we set text for that specific text view by passing this text we created. Okay, the another way is to use the Java's set on click listener. So let's use that and try to implement event to our second button. Now our second button can't do anything here. It will not giving any action on our text or on our screen. So to implement that one, we just use B1, no, B2, and set on click listener. Just click on that, and now we have this one. And we just pass new view on click listener. Just click on it, and it will pop up the method called on click. So this is the method to handle our event using Java. So this on-click is a built-in method, so you just specify whatever you want inside this. So just copy this and change our. Okay. Now you can see the first button. Now this one is the second button, right? The second button. Now we are changing. So now we are done. This all to implement event handling using Java, and this is to handle event using this XML. Okay, so let's rerun. Okay, now let's try to see if we can get any change. The first button is clicked, it's okay. It is using by XML, and now the second button is clicked. So it's okay now. So it's working very well. So you can just switch on these two ways so that the text will appear here, will be changed based on the data you set. So this is the way to implement different views on your layout. So here we do have about how many views? 1, 2, and 2 button here, 4. So we specified about 4 views inside the relative layout, because we are specifying this different layout one from the another. And we handled also those 2 buttons, one with using an XML, the other with using Java. So this is the one I want to show you in the practice for this one. And we'll continue with the PPT part, but I want a minute break if you agree. And also you can just try to code this one in the break time, maybe for 5 minutes, if you agree. If you agree, we can start on 10:20. And you can also code if you miss something to catch me up, and just go through this and try to run your app. Okay. We will get back into our workshop within 5 minutes. We'll continue with the text and scrolling view.
Hello, Thaddeus.
Yes, yes.
Can you show us what you write in the string XML?
That I just okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can we continue? Hello. What's up, Turi? Any error or any problem? Can you show
Yeah.
us me? Sorry, I'm
No.
not with the discussion box. There are a lot of issues raised there. Okay, I'll wait maybe 5 minutes so that you can fix the error. Sorry, I'm not seeing the discussion box when I'm presenting. Okay. Text view and button. So what the problem there? Let's switch here. You specify text view. You don't forget to change this one to the relative layout. Then we can have text view. You just copy this one and I change the text here and some ID, nothing else. You can also send your error on the group or discussion box so that you can fix. Okay, relatively, okay. This one. I didn't change anything. I just, there was constant layout before. I changed to this one, relative layout. Don't forget the closing tag should be also relative layout here. Maybe that's what you're facing here. So when you try to change your constraint layout, it will automatically change this one to relative layout by default. But it's better if you check that one again. Okay, let's see. Where is the discussion box? Let's go back to main XML. What do you mean by main XML? There's no main XML here. You mean activity main? I'm in there. I'm in activity main. Sorry, did you fix it, that one? Also, guys, you can, if you want, you can switch your screen. I can close this one and you can see what the problem you faced. You can screen your screen, and I can see that if you have any problem with your code. If you want to switch your screen, you can close mine. Let me know.
Can I share my PPT? My Android screen?
You mean your screen? You want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Go ahead.
Okay.
You got a lot of error here, right?
But here, as this one, I say it's different, but I change this one only.
Let's see. So
Then
did you specify the text on your string? Can you go to your string example first?
the
Go to
what?
here. Go to there. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Oh, that one you specified there is a error on there. So the name is equals to string. So that's not correct. You have to specify that one text there.
Here.
No, name is okay. Name is okay. No. No, don't change name. You change you specify text. That's the same like at the top one. You just you have put that one
This.
in the string. Yeah. The same one.
All right.
Delete that one and delete the tag also.
All right.
No. Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah. The closing tag should also be the string. You said app name, right? The closing tag. Yeah, that one is okay. The closing tag.
This one.
Yeah, that one. That one is string. Yeah. So now you are saying app name. No. Go back there. Here you use the same name, app name. So you can change this one to some name. Text. You use text in your okay. So if you say app one, so also okay. Now go back to your activity XML. No, not this one. Activity. Yeah. Okay, now here you have to change to app name. You are saying here text, but there is no text in the string. So you have to specify this one by app name.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the app name one. No, not this one. The second one. You want the second one. Yeah.
This part.
Yep.
Then
That
here
one also. Yeah.
can I run it now?
No. You have an error. No. You can't.
Okay.
So another error that you have is can you delete those other layouts like at the very top, starting from constraint layout button. No, not those one. Go back, like, about under the color here. Delete those all part.
This
About
part.
5. Those 5. That one we need them for like maybe for the constraint layout. They are not. Don't delete the close tag.
Okay. This? You say this part?
Yeah, delete that one. Also the last one without deleting the closing tag only. Also
This one also.
delete that one. No, don't delete the last closing tag.
So
Which
one I delete now?
This one also you have to delete.
Which one? This one?
No.
This one?
The bottom one that without the closing tag. You are saying constraint top. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you got me now.
Yeah, okay.
Now what the problem now?
Layout
margin. Oh, you are saying go back to there. Here at here you what the problem on here? This layout margin top, and then you specify 10 dp, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't get the error. So, the keyword here you use Android. Change that one to the correct. You are not using the correct name of Android. Copy another one and paste.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the same. And that one is Android things at the stream. Okay, can you go down, and then also delete this constraint? Oh, you are using the same 2 text here. You are specifying twice text here. So delete the top one because you specify text at the bottom. No. In this text view,
This
you
one.
have you are using and that text you are using no, don't delete the whole one. I just mean the text here you specify the text attribute twice. Yeah,
this
that one delete the whole one. That one, yeah. Now you are good to go. And also here, what the problem is, Android also. Android, change the correct name for that Android keyword. Okay. Close tag. Here you have to close the button tag / and just done, and go, and also Android name. Okay, I think I need a close tag. Fix it. Now go back to your Java code.
Here.
Okay. Oh, you have to type text view capital T. And try to type Alt plus Enter and at the button. At the button. No, at the top. Yeah, the one popping up. Click on the button, on the button text here. On the button text. There is button B2, right?
Yeah.
Then just click. Don't select. Just click on there and Control Alt plus Enter. Okay. Also import class. You can just click on import class. Yeah. Okay. Do the same to the text view too. Text view. No, the text view also there here.
Okay.
This one you have to change. I think the view is capital. V is capital, yeah. Now you can, Alt plus, and you will import the class for it. Okay, I think no problem now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now there is code left here also and modify in your I can switch my screen now and you can see what the code I used here in the Java code. Okay. So any problem you guys have, maybe you can switch your screen too. Let's switch to my Java code here. I can use this code to implement the event for your code, for your button. I think it's better if you start our second session for today's topic on different layouts, resources, and views. Also, we will have today we will have a challenge. Okay, since we are now getting started with the coding part, so we will upload today's challenge, and you guys can practice on that, and we will get through on those challenges before we start new topic tomorrow. Okay. If you have any question, also you can put on in this discussion box, and Mr. Paul and Simon will be there to answer for you as much as possible, because I'm not actively seeing this discussion box when I'm talking or presenting. Okay, now we can continue with also the same like with the text and the scrolling view, because scrolling view is one of the common view type that we are using in our app most commonly. So you may think you may have an idea to develop an app, but your app may also contain this kind of view. So we will get into this. We'll get into back to the practice part again in this scrolling view. Okay, so here, as you have seen in the practice part, text view you use is one of the view subclasses that you used for displaying a single and also multiple line text. Okay, and so this is also one of the view subclasses. Edit text, we use edit text so that it's also, this edit text is a subclass of text view by itself, and also this one is used for if you want to user to give an input, so you use the edit text so that the user can be input for you on your screen or on your event. So this one will be controlled by different layout attributes, like you can set the text just statically from the string. As we have seen, we did that one in our coding practice. We just set that string from string resource in XML. Also, you can just specify dynamically from your Java code or any resource. So both are okay. To set the string for edit text or text view, both are okay. So these are the way we used to create our text view in XML. We have seen this. I already seen this, so it's easy, right? So you just specify the text view and you specify ID, and you set the weight and height or width and height, and you specify text with the string. If you can specify directly here the string message. Also, you can specify from the string XML. Okay, these are the common attributes we use for text view. You can specify by using text attribute to specify the text to display. So you can specify text color to give a color for that text, and also you can use text appearance. If you have any text, if you have any style that is predefined theme in your style.xml file, also you can specify text size. This one we use SCP. Scalable pixel, and also you can use text style, which is normal or bold. If you want your text style what looks like, you can say that one. And also typeface, normal, sans. This one the type of the text, okay, that we use like in our Word document. So there are many kinds of text typeface. You can use one of them. And also how many lines of extra line you want between the lines. So you can specify that we're using line spacing extra, and you can specify that one with SP also. So this related to the text, you don't need to use DP. Okay, DP is just for the view. Okay, you may think of like our text view may look like So whenever you may get an app that shows a text view with a link icon, right? So that whenever you click on that text view, it will just redirect you to the browser and open a web or map or different things. So the way to do that is just you specify your string of your website or your map location in your string XML, and then there is an attribute called auto link. So this auto link is a way that if you want our text view to be a link, so if you click on that, it will redirect you to the text that you specified in your string XML. For example, here we set a string name like VIEWGROUP website in our string XML, and we specified the auto link to web, because this is the website domain name, right? So the domain name is VIEWGROUP. So we want our text view whenever the user click on this text view on the VIEWGROUP.com, and it will redirect you to the by default the browser you have, and it will open that website to you. So this is the way if you want to make your text view or like act like a link. Okay. Also, there are other values that you can set for your auto link attribute, like web. We have seen it here. And also you can use email, so that you can provide your email. So instead of using email by using just text view, you can use auto link to email, so that whenever you click on that email, your email address you specified, it will redirect you to the default Gmail account you have or the Gmail app you have in your device. And also you can provide phone, and so that the phone number you specified will be opened by using the default phone application, and map, and also all. This all is just something that will give a pop-up option from the whole app you have on your device. Then you can choose one of them if you want. So these are some of the auto link values, so you can have a try with your text view, okay, and after the class. Okay, so the other thing is also you can create the text view. Now we have seen the creating text view using XML, right? Also, it's possible to create the text view using Java code. So this is the way how you can do it. So you just create a class of text view and an object of text view class, and you pass the context this, and then you can specify the height and width that we specified in our XML the same way, and you can specify here match parent or wrap content, whatever you like, and then you specify the minimum lines of text that you want to appear in your text view. 3 or 4, any dimension you want, the line, maximum, minimum line. And also you can say text by using the same way r.string. In our XML, we use @string, right? In XML, to refer our string value, we use @string. In our Java, just use r.string. And also we just append the text we have we created in our code. So we just use those things to create text view using Java code. Okay, let's see one of the interesting parts of this view for today's session, which is scroll view. Okay, what makes strong view differ from the text view is if you have a bunch of text that may be hard to see in your screen. So we may have too much length of string. So those strings may be not good to use text view for such kind of string. So what we can use is scroll view. So for example, if you are developing an app for like to display news stories, articles, and different stuff, so better to use this scroll view. So what do is just to call a text view that's embedded into the scroll view, so that you can scroll down to see the up and down of the text. So this, what makes differ also this is this view from another is it only can have one child view on it. So you can't provide multiple view inside this screen scroll view. But to do so, there is also another way to implement multiple view inside the scroll view. Scroll view only can take one child view. Yeah, it's true, but there is also another way to implement different view inside the scroll view. To to scroll multiple elements or multiple child views inside the view is you have to use a view group inside the scroll view. So view group can be considered as a single view to the scroll view, right? But view group by itself also can contain multiple view, right? So scroll view can contain a view group. That view group can be considered as a single view for this scroll view, but view group also can contain multiple views. So now we break this rule and we can modify, we can just add multiple views or elements in our scroll view. So we'll get into that in the practice too in a moment. So it's one of the subclass of frame layout. So we talked about frame layout before. Frame layout is something that it's the stack of views that you just use one view at a time, right? So we took an example of a photo album app. So when you click on the photo album app and you go to the photos to see each and every photo you have, then you click one, you see one picture at a time and you swap to the left and to the right to see the rest, right? So it just shows one element at a time. So that's the thing also that makes this scroll view subclass of frame layout. And it holds all contents in memory. It's not good for long text and its complex layout. And also it does not nest multiple scrolling views. So it doesn't nest your multiple views, rather it just scroll down. And we'll get into this. Okay, here we can see we can have a layout. We have here scrolling. This is the way we create scroll view using one view inside it. So this we have scroll view here. Inside the scroll view, what we want to scroll is text view. So we specify one text view on here. So it's only possible to use one child view inside the scroll view. Okay, so just remind this one when we get into practice. So here you can see in the image we have a relative layout. So inside relative layout we have two text view here, the title and two titles, right? The app name in the title. And next to that, we have a scroll view. And inside the scroll view, we specify the scroll view. And inside that scroll view, we specify the text view on it. So this is the direct code implementation for this screen. Okay, so also we can have define view group inside the scroll view. So that view group is considered as a single view for that scroll view. I don't think you guys may confuse with the meaning of like view group and view. View and view group are different, right? View group can contain multiple view on it, but view is a single view, right? So here we have inside the scroll view, we put it what? Linear layout, right? So linear layout is what? It's view group, right? Because it can contain multiple view inside. So since we have said like scroll view can contain only one child view, right? So what the child view for this scroll view is only this linear layout. We can't take this text view as a child view for this scroll view because text view is this one is child view for what? For this linear layout, not for this scroll view. So for this scroll view, the child view is linear layout. So we only have one view here inside the scroll view, right? So we are like following the rule here. We are using one view inside the scroll view, but the view that you used inside the scroll view is not just view, it's a view group. So if it's view group, also we can have multiple view on it. So we can have here one text view, here we have also another text view. So we can specify different views inside the scroll view by using a view group. And this is this is the only way to specify multiple views inside the scroll view, since scroll view only allows us to use single view on it. Okay, here you can see also the same way we had the previous example, but what makes different here is we use inside the scroll view, we use a view group of linear layout, and inside that we have two text view. Because if you don't use the linear layout, we can't use these two text view inside because we can't. It's not possible to use two text view or two or more views inside the scroll view unless we use view group. Okay, so here you can see scrolling with text with image. So here you have we use again the linear layout, which is one child of scroll view, which can be also layout. So that's why we use linear layout. So the child view of scroll view can be also layout. So it only says you can't use more than one child view. that's the rule. So we can use this. The layout is by itself, it's a view. So we use view linear layout as a view, and you can use multiple view inside. So this is another child view for the layout. This child view is not for the scroll view, it's for this layout. Okay, let's I think we are done with this part. So let's practice the scroll view in our demo part on here. Let's continue with the coding part. Okay, so now let's define a scroll view so that we can have implement multiple text and can see how we can implement it. So let's continue with this. Let's have text view, wrap content. Okay. So we have text view, and we just say the width and height wrap content, and let's say the text like scroll view. It's scroll view. Yeah, don't need it, but the text here. Okay. Once we say that one, what else left? We need ID. I don't think we need. So we just prefer form below this button, right? So layout below the ID of what button 2, right? We want to set below button 2. So now our scroll views, the text what appear in the scroll views here, you can see on this screen. So we have to set that one to center, right? To do so, we just use center horizontal, and this will specify true. Now our scroll views now going to the center. Okay. So once we are done with this, we can also specify the text by using size, maybe. Text size, let's say 30 SP. Yeah, we are good. And also we can specify the margin from top, maybe about 20 pp. So there. Also, you can specify color if you want. It's okay for us to go with this one. What else you want to? I think to set maybe think now, right? Now we can continue with the scroll view. Now this is that's the text view to show this the following is scroll view. Okay, I think we want to do with this text, so we don't need ID because we don't want to have an event for this text view. So it's okay if you don't set an ID. So we don't care on it for now. Now the thing I want to show on here is the scroll view. Okay, scroll view. So we have to set the width and height so that your text will be scrolled. Let's say width, you can take much parent, right? Because it's okay if you take much parent, and you can specify the width, maybe like 190 pp. Height, I mean the height. That's okay. Now we just close this tag. Also, now our you can see here our text view is found in here, right? So because we didn't say the below from which view we want, because we are using relative layout, we have to identify, because by default it will say it at the bottom, so you have to specify below. Below of what? Below of oh, now we need ID for this one because we want to set this scroll view below this text view, right? So we have to set ID here now. Let's say title, maybe. Now we want to set below maybe, okay, you're not giving me a suggestion, but I can write at ID, and we can set title below the title. Now you can see here, right? Our scroll views appear on here below this text view, below this one. This is our scroll view, so our text will be scrolled on here now. Okay, what is left to do? We can also set the margin top here. maybe something 40 maybe. Yeah. dp. Yeah, it's good. Okay, now we are done with this. So what the thing we want to scroll on this view, we have to we only allowed to have one view inside this scroll view, right? Also, you can use view group to if you want multiple views to scroll multiple views in your scroll view. But for now, we'll go with the single text view. Okay. Okay. So text view. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, because this one I have to say blank, and then this one should be good. We're gonna text view, and the text we want, the width is okay. We could go with some parent, right? Also the head, it's okay. We go with the wrap content. I think you guys got what the meaning of merge parent and wrap content. Don't forget to close the tag. Now you can see our text will scroll inside this view. Okay, so let's set an ID. Maybe like text view. Okay, and what else we want to set? Maybe color if you want to make it different. It's okay to use this one too. Okay, now we should have multiple to see the what we written on here. To see what the difference, we need multiple line string, right? Because the string should be scrollable. If you have like very small string, so you can't see that one where scrolling or not. So let's get multiple string from maybe internet. Let's try to touch on maybe news or something else. We can, if you can get, yeah, we do have like a lot of string here. Okay, let's copy this string and see whether it's scrolling or not. So let's go into this string tag and find string is s source. Maybe you can use src and no, sorry. Okay, now we can put those all strings here, copy and paste it on here. String that I got from the internet. I can also add other one if I have. I can copy this all. And then, oh. Can imagine now we do have a lot of strings on here, right? So now we are good to go. Now let's assign our text for this text view. Let's say text, okay? And at the string, and we say source. Here we have a name for our string. We copy and paste it. Okay. Now you can see this screen. This text are appeared here because we have defined this all text in this src name. So now we can easily access this. So let's run our code and see. We don't need any Java code for now. Okay, just we use the layout only now. Sorry. Now the Gradle is building. We'll finish within a second. Okay, now this is the previous one. So the update is only this one. So here you can see the text, right? So this text can be, you can see, scrollable, right? So your text can be scrollable. So this is the way you implement scroll view in your Android app. So here we have a bunch of text on here, and you can just scroll down. So this is the way, okay? This is the way to implement scroll view in your Android app. If you have any question, I think it's enough for today. Maybe we'll continue with other stuff tomorrow, and we will post out the challenge for today's session so that you can practice your understanding, okay, what you understood in our today's topic. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask and you can figure it out. If you face any problem with the code part, this is just be updated now. This one. This is just the text view I added, and I use this scroll view, and I provide the text by copying this from the internet, multiple line text. Okay. If you have any question, you can raise on the discussion box, and you can see that. Also, you can share your screen so that you can fix any question. Also, you can raise. Thank you.